Hi there, it's Yasmin here, and I thought because Mercury is now officially retrograde, and I've been talking about it for some time now, since Mercury is now officially retrograde, I thought I would hop on here and have a chat to you about 5 things to do when Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. Now, sometimes when Mercury retrogrades, depending on where it is, hello, somebody, say hello, let me know where you're from. Sometimes when Mercury retrogrades, depending on where it is in the sign when it starts to retrograde, it can actually retrograde like way back through the sign and back to the previous sign. So for example, now it would be retrograding from Scorpio back into the sign of Libra, say. But this time, because it's starting its retrograde cycle quite well into the sign of Scorpio, it's only going to be retrograde in the sign of Scorpio, which in a way is quite good because it means that this cycle is relatively straightforward. If you go to mercuryretrogradebook.com and you buy my book and you pick up the bonuses, one of the bonuses which we've added just for the Mercury retrograde cycle is actually about where Mercury is retrograde for you, what it means. We've given you all the interpretations so that you can start to learn how to understand, to work with the cycle and how to use it. Now, because Mercury is only going to be retrograde in the sign of Scorpio this time around, as I said, it's a kind of a very much a single message. And, you know, one of the great things about this Mercury retrograde, and also one of the terrible things, is that it's very much about digging up the past and basically kind of a little bit of an emphasis, are you ready, on your shadow side, okay? Shadow side. Shadow, S-H-I-T, is going to come up. So if you've had any upsets in the recent days, just before Mercury went retrograde today, you know, and if you know something about that you don't love about yourself has come up, something that maybe you don't like to think about, something you prefer to hide from other people, something you maybe even hide from yourself, maybe it's, you know, your jealousy or anger or competition or, you know, competitiveness or insecurity. We all have a shadow side and it's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, okay? So I've been, by the way, nobody said hello yet. I can see you're on there. Say hello, let me know where you're from, and let me know if you have any questions about Mercury retrograde, because I'd be delighted to answer them for you here and now. So I've read from this section, I think on a previous live, but I'm just going to go over it again, just a little bit. The upside of Mercury retrograde. It might not sound like the most fun thing to do, but now is a great time to face your inner demons and get them under control. And basically that's what our shadow side is. It's our inner demons. It's the parts of us that we haven't integrated, okay? Basically, you have to think of it in a kind of a cosmic way. We live in polarity, okay? We live where we have hot, cold, on, off, in, out, up, down, high, low, you know? Did I say good, bad? Because that's a big one. We live in a world of polarity, and, you know, we have stuff to deal with. Like, that's one of the reasons we're here. We are here on this planet, I believe, to evolve. And one of the ways that we can evolve is by starting to work with our shadow side and to face our shadow side and to learn to embrace our shadow side and to learn even to love our shadow side. So think about whatever it is about you that you don't love, and particularly think about anything about you that you don't love that's come up for you in the past few days, you know? Maybe you, I don't know, trampled all over someone on your way to trying to get a promotion. Or maybe you were insanely jealous of someone. Or maybe you just even thought something really mean and you feel bad about it, you know? We all have a shadow side, and part of our work here on this planet is to learn to work with this side of us. And, you know, in some ways, just to love it. And in other ways, also to get it under control. And, you know, it's a bit like they say, I think it's in AA, they say, you know, the first step to curing a problem is admitting that you have a problem. You know, so if you know you have a problem with something, now is a superb time as Mercury goes retrograde in the shadowy sign of Scorpio, which we all have in our chart somewhere. Now is the time to work with that shadow side. More than any other sign, Scorpio likes to dig under the surface of things to see what's being glossed over or whitewashed. So what in your life have you been glossing over? What have you been whitewashing? Has anybody said hello yet? Because I can see you're on there, but I don't know, maybe sometimes the comments don't show up. It'd be really cool if you wanted to ask me a question. I would be so happy. Let me see if I press that. Will that? No? Say hello and let me know where you're from at least, so I know that you can write. And if you've got a question, just leave it for me because I will answer them in a second. So yeah, so what in your past few days have you been whitewashing, you know? What about you's come up that you thought, that's not my best side. I should hide that. It's not a matter of hiding, it's a matter of working through it and processing it. So on that note, and I still can't see any comments. I'm sure people are commenting because you guys always do, but I must be on sort of, no, it says you can't turn your phone while you're recording. I can't see your comments. If you're commenting, I'm really sorry, I can't see them. I would really like to answer your questions as well. It's really a shame. But 5 things to do when Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. Now, the first thing is deal with old emotional baggage. Now, what is the point? Why do we want to deal with emotional baggage? Well, because emotional baggage holds us down. You know, it's that simple. Emotional, like, imagine all your emotional baggage are like suitcases filled with rocks, because that's what emotional baggage is like, that you have to drag behind you as you go through life, okay? Now, because of the nature of Scorpio, Scorpio retrograde is a really good time to deal with your emotional baggage and to just let it go. And you might be able to do it at the time of the full moon, which we have in about 2 weeks' time. It'll be the full moon, it'll be Mercury retrograde. It's going to be a great time to say, I am releasing emotional baggage, okay? It can also be, though, that you actually maybe need to even go and talk to someone professional. Scorpio is actually the sign of psychotherapy and just sort of deep therapy that kind of goes into your mind. Scorpio goes deep. So if you think, you know what, maybe I should go and talk to someone professional about how I've been feeling, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio completely supports you. And if that's going to help you to ditch your emotional baggage, then so much the better. Okay, so another number 2, 5 things to do. Bring back sexy time. I just said elsewhere, I can't believe I wrote that. Sorry, guys. But you know what I mean. I mean, you know, you can't be too rude. Basically, it's a very good time if things have gone a bit quiet in the bedroom. It's a really good time for you and your lover to say, you know what, we need to get back in touch with this side of our relationship. It's a really good time to resume intimacy on all levels, as Scorpio is really an intimate sign. It's a sign that likes to go deep, including with people in the bedroom. Yeah. Okay, number 3, explore your interest in arcane and esoteric matters. Now, this is another really good one, especially if you've been studying astrology, for example, which comes under the arcane and esoteric title. If you've been studying astrology, now's a really good time to get back into it. Okay, so if you've ditched your studies, get back into it. Really, really good time for it. You'll probably go even deeper if you get back into it now. Focus on your debts and how you allocate your resources. Now, the reason for that is that Scorpio does have a correlation with the 8th house on the natural chart of astrology. So it's a really good time to think back over your finances and think, how am I doing with my finances? What am I doing with my finances? And especially, what am I doing with my debts? Okay, really good time to think, can I pay off some debts? And be open to your intuition and what it's telling you. That's a really important one as well. Be open to your intuition and what it's telling you, because Scorpio is a watery sign. All the water signs are very intuitive, and Scorpio is a very sensitive sign. So have a think about what your intuition is telling you. It's really, really important. Okay, well, unfortunately, I cannot see your comments. So I'm just going to tell you, I've changed the bonuses again for the book, and I'm going to leave them as they are from now on. They'll just be available while Mercury is retrograde, so you've got about 3 weeks. But they will be gone after that. You need to buy the book, but it's only if you buy the book from a particular page, because a lot of people have got confused and just gone off to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Indigo or wherever, bought the book and gone, I didn't get the bonuses. If you want the bonuses, you have to buy the book from www.mercuryretrogradebook.com. And I've changed up the bonuses. You'll still get the explainer video, because I think that's really useful to people when they buy the book. But you'll also get a special little mini PDF about where Mercury is retrograde for you, and you're going to get a gorgeous Saraswati meditation. Now, why Saraswati? Well, I think I'll tell you more about that tomorrow, but in a nutshell, she is the goddess of Mercury, really. All Mercury matters. She's the goddess of language. So I'm going to leave it there. MercuryRetrogradeBook.com to grab a copy of the book. Don't go through this cycle without it, and remember, go deep and face your demons, and I will be trying to do the same.